Hey
All right, and we
guys.
are live.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. I know it might take a few minutes for some people to get on. Alex and I have been trying to get together and do a video this week, but we have obviously been doing them all week. We have probably burned ourselves out. And so, therefore, today the video is going to kind of lead into what happens when you overdo it or when the environment overdoes it for you, and how that can lead to meltdowns and shutdowns and stuff. So, also different things that we have learned to do, or things we've read about, and how that can help. So, Alex, do you have something to say that you're going to be bringing in?
Just like that everyone's experience with meltdowns is different. But I think the strategies that we'll bring up will help everyone, no matter what their situation is.
Yeah, so be a nice human.
Being nice, that's a great idea.
If you're human. I mean, I don't know if I am, but like, we can be a
Well,
nice
that I mean
species.
that's debatable for both of us. It's like
It's fine. I'm not wearing foil on my head today.
yeah, don't
um,
worry, guys. I'm not connecting to Jupiter and all that. We're good.
and feel free to comment in the comment box. And if you have any questions while we're talking, or you just whatever, we'll have a Q&A at the end. But you can comment along the way if something kind of pops out to you, so you don't forget. Or if you just kind of want to bring information in that you have, all that's great and accepted. But we're gonna get down to it. And I guess first of all, I just want to ask Alex, what happens, I guess, when you kind of experience these things, like when you just are on overload, and you that starts to come, and kind of how that goes for you. What do you do?
Yeah, you mean like what happens to me or how I handle it?
I guess both, because it's sort of like something literally is physically happening to us, not that
Hmm.
we can like pick up on it right away, because we usually just mask it or try to figure it out, or, stim or whatever, and then, kind of get to those points. But sometimes it can happen like instantly, almost like it comes out of nowhere, just how we handle it, or have learned to better handle it, I guess, too.
Yeah, well, I'll start off with what physically happens. So for me, I start breathing very heavy, kind of like I'm at high altitude almost, like I'm climbing a mountain, basically. That's what it feels like. I also get a really bad headache because my veins tense up and all that. Like my I get really tense and my veins can't really handle that. So my head hurts. Um, then I also, because the thing with meltdowns is they often come with panic attacks, and
Yeah.
panic attacks they feel like you're having a heart attack,
Yeah.
and that's been proven by science. And so
Hmm.
you feel a lot of chest pain, you feel a lot of heart fluttering, and it's a very scary experience, especially if you hadn't had one in a while and you don't know
Hmm.
and you forget what that's like. Um, the way the way I handle it is taking what I call flagpole breathing, and this is something I didn't come up with, but I love it. So you basically think of your esophagus and your lungs as a flagpole, and then you breathe in as much as you can, like to the very top of the flagpole, and then you breathe out until you're at the very bottom. Well, a little more calm than that, but it's
Yeah. Oh, I'm calm. I can be calm. No.
um, but and yeah, that works. That helps a lot. Because and that's proven by science too, because it gets your body into a natural rhythm again.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that pretty much explains, just really what a meltdown is. And then, there's also Shutdowns. But I got a couple of things because I like looking at stuff from multiple different perspectives, and to have like the feeling yourself and to know that, and then also be able to kind of like see the sort of like science behind it, sort of helps put that all together.
Mm-hmm.
But here on this website, just for people who are new coming in, or they are autistic and they have no idea what a meltdown actually is. A lot of people don't know the difference between the panic attack and a meltdown, and sometimes, like Alex said, they can like combine, and it can be kind of like a together thing. But a meltdown lasts a lot longer. So you may experience that. You've kind of been going through it. You went through the burnout, and then the meltdown comes. And I mean, it can last like a day to days, just sort of going through that. Not necessarily like a mood thing, although that can happen because your brain is sort of stuck in this state, and you're trying to go through that healing from the after effects of the meltdown and what it does to your brain. But on here it says, just for the basic of what that is a person may show extreme behaviors like shouting, self-harm, aggressive behavior, and repetitive behaviors. During meltdowns, there may be a risk of harm, and meltdowns can be very distressing for the person, for the autistic person, as well for those around them. And it's not always like that extreme, because we learn different coping things. But I would say like mine can be a verbal thing. And I know that I need to go be by myself, do the breathing, have a moment, probably, I clench my fists a lot. And that's when I know it's coming, because it's like you're hulking up, you're hulking up, your veins are
Yes.
popping out, you're squeezing, you're trying to
Ready to
hold it
turn
in,
green.
and and then you just can't squeeze anymore. And so you don't want someone else to be in the crossfire for that, but at the same time, like, you have to have some sort of healthy way of getting it out. That's why I joined karate, or one of the reasons, because it's a positive way to like help sort of balance out, and for me to be aware of a meltdown too. And then there's shutdowns, which is a person may be partially or completely withdraw from the world around them. They may not respond to communication anymore, retreat to their room. Yes, lie down on the floor. They may also no longer be able to move from the situation they are in, no matter what it is. For example, a shopping center or a classroom. Shutdowns tend to be discreet, more discreet than meltdowns, and may sometimes go unnoticed. However, like meltdowns, they are a person's response to reaching crisis point.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that happen from being in higher stress levels, having anxiety, and autistics, for the most part, a lot of the times have higher stress levels and anxiety. So sometimes meltdowns can turn into shutdowns. I think that that's what usually happens to me, because then I want to close myself off. I'm embarrassed that it happened, but it just was inevitable, even sometimes with the coping things. And so then I just feel like I just need to shut down, be alone by myself, and not be a bother or whatever. But it says here, a person may show outwards expression of stress to begin with. Like, if I'm like stimming a lot more, I needed to do something, that's like my body is trying to tell me, so awareness of ourselves and what's going on. And just the fight or flight. But it also may be necessary for the person, it may be a hard step for the autistic person to recover from, which is why it's not just like, oh, it happened, oh, it ended, it's over, just get over it.
Yeah. It takes a while. Yeah.
Right. And do you have something like on shutdown, just after reading that, kind of like, I guess, if you've experienced that more, kind of just shutting down versus the meltdowns, or how that's kind of gone for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, they kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have that meltdown and then I have that shutdown. Because you have to keep in mind, having that meltdown does take a lot of energy, and it
Yeah.
takes a lot out of you. And sometimes not only might you not want to hang out with other people and not want to get outside, but like you can't, like you're just exhausted after it.
Right.
Because it basically what it is
Hey, y'all go out there. Sorry.
you're good. Basically what it is a buildup of negative energy, and it is negative energy, but it's energy nonetheless. And to
Hmm.
me, I think it's more exhausting when you spend negative energy than when you spend positive energy.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think a lot of that has to do with the physical aspect of it. Like you're gonna be tired after a meltdown, um,
Go.
and and I'd say
Go
a
go out
lot.
there.
I'd say a part of it is obviously mental as well, because like you don't want to interact with people after going through that, and after like showing that side of you. Because I have, I mean, believe it or not, I do have pretty bad anger issues, and I've done a very good job of controlling that. But sometimes when I slip up, I just want to get away from people for a couple of days and like hope they forget about that because it's not good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I hate being angry, but at the same time, I have such trouble getting emotions out that like it's
Yes.
frustrating and it boils over. And I really, I mean, I feel bad originally when it happens, but after and when I'm going through that shutdown, I'm like, okay, let's face it, that was going to happen. Like
Yeah.
that's something all autistics do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think, we start to learn stuff too, and we're like, okay, I'm learning this stuff. It should be helping. No, I just She-Hulked again, and the whole house is just, you know what I'm saying? And it's frustrating because it's like, how, I am working on doing these things, and it's not impossible. Like, like there is ways to help with it, but it does take time. And a lot of times, like if we also don't learn those things throughout our lives, we have no um, really perspective on our internal senses, on our internal like feelings, because we've just always kind of like had these meltdowns, and like that's how we dealt with it. We didn't know how to cope throughout the all those years. And so
mhm.
trying to learn that like brand new, after so much time, it's going to take a while, just like, the growth like you were talking about earlier today with people being aware and being able to accept, like this has been going on for so long. So we really have to let ourselves take that time too, and not just have
Yeah,
these expectations where it's like, I'm really mad and I'm just going to smile like every day 24/7. And then,
yeah, that's not healthy.
it's just going to pay a toll on us eventually. And that's why really taking off the masks and all that stuff is about too, is because we're also preventing ourselves from, more pain towards us, or,
Mhm.
verbally towards someone else, or whatever that is, because we're not spending that energy trying to mask all of our feelings, emotions, our traits. So that's why, we have to learn to be who we actually are, and
Mhm.
not just hold all those high expectations all the time. Um, but on here is interesting. Um, and I've read over some of this stuff before, but it says here that meltdowns and shutdowns are usually caused by high levels of stress. Um, and the autistic person can no longer cope. These can be triggered by any situation and can come from accumulation of stressful events over a period of time, hours, days, or weeks. And some people are able to deal with a certain amount of stress. But for autistic people, they tend to have high levels, like I said, of the stress and anxiety, and that leaves them less room to cope with additional stress. So they may reach crisis point more quickly than others. But that doesn't say neurotypicals don't do it. That doesn't say any other type of person doesn't go through that. It's
Right.
the extremes, just like the interests and other stuff like that too. It's like the extremes. And so we have extreme anxiety and stress. And so we will have extreme after effects, meltdowns and shutdowns. It's like science, cause and effect. There you go.
Yes.
And we have different triggers because of sensory processing issues as well. So, it says here common triggers: too many demands placed on the autistic person, especially if they are not related to each other, unexpected changes in plans or routines, sensory overload, social overload, being exposed to too much social interaction. This particularly relevant to shutdown, which, yeah, I mean, makes a whole lot of sense on that because, if we are constantly masking and then we try to stop doing that, then we don't feel like we're doing the right things. And so we shouldn't do anything at all. And that will bypass just all the messed up social stuff that could happen after. And so we just kind of shut down and reserve ourselves back. So, what are your experiences, I guess, with kind of being in a social situation or the sensory overload part of it, and it being more not just how we feel or what we're going through because we're stressed, but because of the environment being stressful?
Yeah. Well, I work at a Taco Bell. And I work the lunch rush. I work the busiest time of the day.
I'm like, no, 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 no.
And when my coworkers or employers are telling me to do stuff and multitasking, and all these cars are coming through, I'm like an atom bomb, just ready, just like and like, oh, it's awful. I'm
Yeah, I can't. I just can't. I can't
luckily
imagine.
luckily I'm getting out of there soon. And I'm gonna be a teacher, so I'm gonna hopefully be in a more quiet environment and less stressed out. But
Yeah,
it's just
I would
during
say
Taco
maybe
Bell, it's crazy. It's
maybe a little bit more control over. I mean, I wouldn't say quiet depending on what age, but like at least like you can kind of like make the schedule or what y'all are going to be doing, and it can kind of help ease versus not being able to do that and kind of like all this sensory environment stuff. And
yeah,
so just like you have no control over what to do in the situation. You just have to do it, and you kind of can't take breaks or whatever, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
um,
And that's the thing. Like, you can't take breaks during the work, like
yeah,
outside of your 30-minute break. So you just have to hold it in, and it's like it's 6 hours of torture basically. Like, if
yeah,
I'm having a bad day and I'm about to snap, but I can't snap, it's like it's
yeah.
torture.
I mean, I've worked in those type of environments like years ago. I haven't worked in like 7 years because I'm a stay-at-home mom. Okay, I've worked really hard for 7 straight years because I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I don't get paid. But in those environments, I remember I just felt like honestly a complete idiot because I couldn't handle the sensory and all the sounds, and so I assumed that there was something wrong with me, and those emotions or things that I would put in myself about that would end up causing me meltdowns later on when I would get home in high school and stuff because I just thought I couldn't do these things, and so I couldn't deal with all the sounds, I couldn't deal with the environment. I could never see myself being a waitress, and I don't know how many times people have told me how easy it is,
Oh,
and
jeez.
I never knew why it wouldn't be easy for me. I just knew like I can't do it, and I wasn't meaning it like I'm being pessimistic. It's just I knew that there was something wrong with the environment in order for me to be able to um, do well at that type of job. And when I did try, I couldn't focus. I heard all the conversations going on and all of that. And I do remember going through like experiencing having meltdowns and stuff a lot. And, there's not a lot of jobs that uh, would be accepting towards those needs or like There's probably gaining more, but I would say not so many places are kind of open to having those type of needs met. And that makes it really hard for me to think about going back to work anywhere. And I'm sure a lot of autistics that can't go to work because of it, or because they don't have these different ways, I guess, that you could still have a job without, like, or giving you more breaks at work or whatever. And unless you have some type of special card, or you've been able to go to a certain type of whatever where you could prove that to them, then they're kind of like, sorry, can't do that for you. And so that's a big thing, I think, that's in the, autism world, as far as like meltdowns and shutdowns and job and career issues. I mean, we can learn all the stuff. We can go to school for like 10 years, but when we're adults, we still have autism. We're still autistic.
Exactly.
So that's a really important thing to look at as well. So anyway, do you have something else kind of related to the topic?
No, not really. I mean, you pretty much covered everything. The only thing I could probably say is that I think having those meltdowns and shutdowns at the workplace is part of the reason why unemployment is so high. And it's really no fault of our own that the employers need to learn that better and understand that better. But that does have something to do with it, I think.
Yeah. Well, and there's also times where, like, and I've heard, like, you go in and, you're talking to them trying to get the job, and you say, like, I'm autistic and I do have, some of these things that I may need, but that doesn't make me completely disabled to working in, this career. I just may need to do things a little differently. So, and then the last thing really that I had here, Alex, are you still there? Oh,
okay. I had to blow my nose. I'm sorry. My sinuses are killing me.
No, I am right there with you. My brain has felt like it's just an airhead. Really, like I can't even think. I can't even verbalize right now.
So I feel like that all the time. So.
Well, like my like, I guess it's not like the in the nose, it's all in my head. And so I'm like slowly losing all my words, and because I can't focus on what I'm feeling here, and then like it come out any type of literate on the outside.
Well, I think you're doing fine as of now.
I try. we can try,
Yeah.
And that's the point. I may be autistic, but if you hire me, I will still try.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my commercial.
It's all we can do right there.
Well, and if anything, honestly, it doesn't, like, in the past few months and all the stuff that I did and the other stuff that I was posting on this channel, if anything, that doesn't show that we are less, but it shows that we can be more than what people think. Even if I have a little meltdown at work and I just need to go lock myself in the broom closet for like 10 minutes, I will be back and everything will be, I will get there, it'll be a work in progress. But so where did that other, here. So some tips on this side of how do I support a person with an autistic person during a meltdown. Know the person you are supporting, as each person will need to be supported in their own way. Yes, thank you. Check, get it.
Yes.
I swear I read these things before I says if they are not at risk of harming themselves or others, can you leave them alone? Or keep calm. Oh, these are questions asked. Sorry, I was getting confused there. Keep calm. Do not ask them too many questions, please. Like, I don't know if Alex is on the same page with me with this one, but whenever I'm in that state, like, I cannot process anything. I want the lights off. I need no sound. I can't see. Like, you asking questions is going to make it worse, and then I'm just not going to probably be the best Hulk person at that moment. And so it just overloads us even more, and we can't process anything that you're saying in that
Yeah.
time. So we just need time and care. Don't tell them to calm down. Instead, give them guidance on how to calm down. Like, can let's do some deep breaths with me. My husband's helped learn to do that because saying calm down has obviously not worked for him
Yep,
or me.
makes it worse.
So the breaths, he's like, do this. And I'm like, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But I would consider doing that instead of saying words, maybe. um, Consider whether you can use their special interest to help relax them. I really like that one. Sometimes my husband will say like, do you want to draw or something? I might not be in a good place to answer or not, or I might not be able to talk at all. I might have
Right.
the so shut down that I'm mute. So I won't be able to give him an answer on that, and he'll just kind of have to let me have more time. And so give them time to withdraw and recover. That's really important. And sometimes people need longer than others. You just have to kind of learn how to gauge that. And then it takes you really paying attention to that person in the situation. And some autistic people may like contact during a shutdown. I don't touch me.
Yeah.
Like a hand on the shoulder or a quiet word, nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and argue all of those for me. This is entirely up to the person. Discuss with the person when they are not stressed how they would like to be supported. Very helpful. Very helpful. I mean, we've had to find out the hard way with some of these things, but I don't know. How do you kind of I guess whenever people try to help you or has it kind of gone negatively, or have people started to try to kind of work with you on
I
those
mean, people
moments?
don't get it, especially when I first start off. So it's unfortunate because I'm not really comfortable talking about that I have this condition
Yeah.
until after the meltdown, and people are like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, what is going
Yeah.
on with you?" And it's like,
No.
oh shoot, I forgot to tell you.
Well, beats me.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously because they don't know anything about me, like the first meltdown
Yeah.
always goes horribly. They have no idea
Yeah.
what to do,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah. Very relatable. I would say if you don't understand it yourself, or you haven't really dug deep down in some of the information yourself, even though you're autistic and stuff, it can be hard to communicate that, because how do you communicate stuff that's just sort of all in your head sometimes? And
exactly, yeah,
as autistics, we struggle with that, to get all of this out, not just bad things, but good things too. And so we have to learn different ways, whether it's drawing or writing or whatever, to sort of express that. It may not always be a verbal action, even though I'm obviously verbal right now.
right,
And you can ask Alex, probably 2 hours ago, full meltdown. I'm still kind of in it,
hmm
still doing the video, because if anything, this needs to show this is 2 plus hours, whatever, after that happened. I just did too much this week, stuff like that, whatever. And him and I were able to communicate on that, and he needed to go to the gym. I needed to stay here, practice karate. And then we still were able to mutually come together, instead of, one of us having an issue
yeah,
in that communication. And so that helped me a lot. And so, even us autistics can have a hard time, even if another person is. It can still have, we can still have miscommunication or whatever. But um, yeah, so hopefully some of those tips can help with people that that are autistic. And remember that just because they seem okay or whatever 2 hours or whatever later, like me, remember that we are like masters at masking these
Yep.
things, and that doesn't mean we don't still need time. That doesn't mean that I don't need the rest of the day without my children for a couple
Just
more
like
hours.
leave me alone for life, all right? Just like go
Like,
away.
be nice and let me live in my, fortress of doom or whatever, and I'll just enjoy every moment. But
Yeah.
no, I just need some
leave
time.
me alone in the Batcave.
This is turning into a blooper video. But
Nah,
seriously, Batman's relatable.
uncut this.
I love
Let it flow. Be raw.
It's just real stuff. Sometimes we get on here all week and we get to be all fun and spit some funny stuff and show us all our little tools of whatever. And then there's other things that we still really need to talk about, like this, that are also very real for autistics, and it's not fun for us to talk about, but it's real. And in order for other people to know how to help us, we have to be honest and we have to be bold to put it out there. So yeah, I'm glad Alex and I could, kind of just show y'all different versions of like kind of what we go through, what we've experienced, and what we've learned to overcome some of those things. At least, as much as we can. So
yeah, absolutely.
Any closing notes?
Yeah, there's 6 in the chat, so smash that like button.
Oh, lovely Meltdowns. Hate the damn phenomenon. Yes.
Yeah,
Glad you
same.
came.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's important to talk about.
I mean, who else feels like the Hulk or like, some Jekyll and Hyde stuff is kind of going on in those moments? Okay, you don't have to put yourself out there. I'm just saying it's frustrating.
Yeah, this is anonymous, guys.
Yep.
Also, if you guys could check me out, I'd appreciate that. Alex's Autism Awareness channel.
Yes. We've done collabs before, and we might have some more upcoming stuff going on, but definitely check out his channel. He also has a Facebook page with that same name, correct?
No, Instagram.
Not channel.
Name.
It's just Alex's Autism
Autism
Awareness. Well, I knew it wasn't channel.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have picked that up.
I got
Communication, communication. You know what I'm saying? Timon and Pumbaa. Whatever.
Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah. All right.
Hakuna Matata. I feel like I am
Hakuna
Lion King
Matata.
today.
What a wonderful phrase.
What phrase? Are we really doing this?
No.
Ain't no problem, please. Lots of V's. I don't know, philosophies.
Oh, that's the best song. You gotta know
ABCs.
You're losing me, Sarah.
I'm supposed to be singing tonight. I don't even sing. Y'all gotta seriously, if y'all pray for me, because I'm gonna need some help up on that stage.
Mm-hmm. We gotcha.
Oh gosh. IHOP. I don't know.
Yeah, but check me out, guys, and thanks for having me, Sarah.
Yeah, and I'll post his channel and all that stuff, and Facebook's in the links down below, and also the links for the pages that I got some of this information from, in case you want to print it out or look at it yourself, and that can be helpful. So, anyways, thank y'all for coming today, and have a good Easter.
Yes, happy Easter, guys.
Yes, I know. I keep forgetting it's Easter weekend. I feel so bad. Anyways, happy Easter! Bye.
Bye.